Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Historical Humans Reacts. And today we are going to be talking about a medieval knight's reliquary, talking about all of his religious artifacts that he carried with him. Ooh.
Yeah.
And where else but Poland?
Oh, yes. Well, no, it's the perfect place for it. I mean, it's heavily Christianized and it's constantly suffering the throes of war. Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be in Poland? Poor
Everything's in
Poland.
Poland, including the Germans.
History has not been kind to this nation, but it endures.
But there is
Uh,
some really cool archaeology that's coming out of there.
yeah. Yeah. So the archaeology comes from the residence of a 14th or 15th century knight located in Lubanik County, Poland. Uh, and it has been conducted by the Upper Silesian Museum of Baton.
Actually, I thought it was the University of Lodz.
Uh, I have, oh, I'm sorry. The first discovery of it was by the Upper Silesian Museum.
There you go. There you go.
There we
Okay.
go. Yeah. Sorry. I read one thing and applied it to the other. Yay. I'm bad at this.
Yeah, so it was a lot of archaeology sites are initially discovered early on and just never excavated or never given a second thought, or there tends to be additional components that aren't discovered till later on. So it's not unusual for sites like this to be discovered during the mid 19th century, so that's 1800s.
Yeah.
So yeah, they clearly found the site and just never excavated, which is good for us because as modern researchers, allows us to do different types of studies that were not done before. And unlike places like the city of Troy, they weren't blown through with TNT and dynamite. However,
Yeah.
this site did suffer from some level of erosion with plowing. Um, Agriculture and plowing can disturb the first like 6 to 8 inches of soil. So a lot of times we call that like the plow zone or some other designation that indicates that it tends to be disturbed soil. So a lot of times the context, which is what archaeologists focus on the most, gets disturbed. This was below that, so we have all the information, which is really neat.
Yeah, we are what we're looking at is what would largely be the would have been the basement of the night, as we have found the remains of the furnace and the bottom floor, along with uh, a lot of artifacts and objects, including a door frame.
Oh, so what they one of the things that they did with this that is really cool is they did a geophysical study, which is a fancy way of saying they did ground penetrating radar. They
Yeah,
basically shot a radar on this field and they were able to determine that there were remains of foundations, walls, the furnace. It's
yeah.
really interesting, and it's one of the ways archaeologists can actually see what's beneath the surface without actually disturbing anything or putting a shovel in the dirt.
Yeah, and for a not entirely inaccurate reference to this in film, just watch the first 5 minutes of the original Jurassic Park. You will see paleontologists employing a similar technique with fictional equipment.
Really?
Yeah, they that's the raptor scene with Alan Grant touching the computer, where they ping the ground and they see the bones of a velociraptor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
interesting.
It's the equipment they use is all completely fake, but that's a good visual representation of what is going on here, of what people did before they started digging. Um, of course, the headline of this excavation is what is known as an encolpion, which is it's a religious artifact in the form of a cross. It is worn on the chest of an individual, and the interior of the cross would contain inscriptions from the Bible, usually uh, prayers for protection or uh, just general advice about keeping faith and God provides.
Yeah. typical
Uh,
things that would be on a knight's body who may go into warfare and may meet their maker at an unfortunate end.
yeah, it's a general reaffirmation. What is interesting about the particular encolpion that they found here uh, was that it was appeared to be made out of almost entirely copper alloy,
Hmm.
and thus it had to be sent away to. I believe they sent it to um, Warclaw for analysis because we can no longer read the scripture on there, and the script and depending on the exact phrase of what's written, will tell us whether he was an Orthodox or a Catholic knight,
Oh.
which is a very big distinction as Poland has played host to large armies and large resident populations from both religions. And so it's a very interesting thing because, as seen in the image above, it is a standard cross. It is not in the distinctive forms unique to each subset of Christianity. It is in the default Christian cross.
So it could really give us a neat insight into both the religion and cultural aspects of these knights, especially in this area, because we can date the bones, we can date the area, we can see the age of this stuff, and this could give us an insight as to who maybe have controlled the area. We can get an insight into potential religious orders of the time. It's really a fascinating find, and stuff like this is not very frequent that we come across, especially stuff like this. Like, this is fascinating. And
Yeah, that,
one of the ways that they found out it was copper is one of my favorite methods. They probably did portable X-ray fluorescence, which just shoots X-rays at it, and at certain frequencies, the colors start illuminating. They start fluorescing.
yeah. Basically, we shot it with radiation until it started glowing. Everyone is still disappointed that we did not make Godzilla.
Oh my god, this would be Crosszilla.
Yeah. No, Godzilla.
Oh, that is awful.
That is very low.
But this is really cool, and the fact that we're able to go back on these sites that were discovered so long ago, just really shows how much potential there is for additional information to be pulled from this. And it's one of the reasons archaeologists actually never really excavate 100% of a site unless it's destined to be destroyed. A lot of times we'll keep stuff in place, we call it preservation in place, and it's to help keep things in touch intact until a future generation with better tech can come through and study it better.
Yep.
But that's my little soapbox podium speech for now.
Yeah. So yeah, I for one am very excited by what has been found. We've definitely found more than enough things for the current iteration of digging. Back off for 20, 30 years, let the technology evolve. Um, and even though Akopions are typically orthodox, the whole thing is just I really want to see which side this falls on because you know Polish Catholics use them as well, and so I'm very excited just to see which denomination this knight was because that's fun. That tells you about who was the dominant power in this region at this time. Because fun fact, religion of your lord is the religion of your people. So the person in charge determines the religion of the people working under him.
Yeah, so it's a good old trickle down religion. But I think that's a good note for us to wrap up. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next video.